on the microphone. Sammy got me rapping on the track cause he can't catch a ball. He got me fumbling on the beat cause he be fumbling for the Chiefs.
Frenemies, out.
All right, welcome back, Frenemies. Podcast episode 42, real quick. That was our multi-talented producer here, Sean, with the rapping skills because he lost the bet last week.
Sammy, thank you so much for putting me through that torture there. I did not enjoy any of that. Luckily, we'll do a shout out here to Ben Meckes. We've shouted him out before, but he's a brother-in-law of mine, and he does producing of music. Own It Music. Check him out if you need anything.
He's great. He made him sound good.
He made that produced part. Don't judge him based on that because that's all my fault. But yeah, I showed up and he was like, "You're doing a rap," and I was like, "Please no." I was like, that's the one thing I was hoping I didn't have to do, but like listening to the intro was the only thing that really fit with what the music is. So I was like, dang it, I'm gonna have to do this. It was good, man.
It was good. Well, welcome guys in Phil Studios. $5. All right, if you guys look at us, we're only two in the studio. You got me, you got Sean.
Sure, this man missing.
Yeah, the man of the people, Ryan Meckes, is on.
Had some family in town, so he should be back next week.
Gave him the night off, so it's just the two of us here. We're going to go right to talk of the town. We got quite a bit of news on the injury front.
Yeah,
here.
Lots of injuries.
Want to talk about, I call it David's boy here, but Devontae Adams. He had a phenomenal night, and then he limps off the field at the end. Toe injuries. This really hurts everybody's fantasy lineups here. So he's truly a wide receiver one.
The good news is it doesn't look like it's going to be as severe as first thought. I mean, when they say turf toe, that usually means several weeks.
Right.
But they're now calling it a little more minor. It's looking like he's going to miss this week for sure. And then I would expect probably after that him to have at least get in a limited role the following week. For the time being, Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Geronimo Allison, they're going to be a little higher up on the rankings. Jimmy Graham was probably a big beneficiary of touchdowns. They need a big body down there, and he's the only one left. So, yeah, that's kind of the fantasy you're looking at.
Or looks at turf toe. The way they describe it, it's not as like everyone's like, oh, he stubbed his toe. No, it's like he couldn't even put his shoes on.
Yeah, he was in pain on that sideline.
Yep. And then this guy, John Ross. It seems like every year he hits the IR.
Yeah.
Going in there, it's a shoulder, right? Separated shoulder again.
Shoulder injury.
Something that he's had history with in the past. It was an ugly game for the Bengals on Monday night, and so him going down with an injury. I saw the tackle where it happened. He's like a frail body speed guy, so just coming down hard to the ground really hurts. But there's a guy here. I'll let you talk about him.
Yeah,
that would be your pickup to replace John Ross in that Bengals offense.
Exactly. So Auden Tate. I know you've never heard that name before. I had never heard that name before, but he came in at the end of the game when John Ross was hurt. Got a couple of targets.
Huge man.
Yeah, I actually like him as kind of a sleeper pick. I picked him up in our league. It's kind of the little sneaky one there because I thought maybe John Ross was going to be, out a little longer. And then I see this news and I'm like, yep, that $12 was worth it now. So, yeah, I think you can pick him up. If you need to flex him this week, it's not a bad matchup.
Who are they playing? They're playing the Cardinals, aren't they?
Yes, the Cardinals. So and by not a bad matchup, I mean the best besides the Dolphins, who are on bye. So probably this week it is the best matchup you can have. So, yeah, if you need to flex him, I'd say you could flex him. And the thing that I'm concerned about is, they keep pushing back AJ Green. So you could be looking at this, Auden Tate could be an option for you for the next several weeks, 5, 6, 7. I mean, who knows how long AJ Green's going to be out. So
no, I think it's
only Tyler Boyd left there. So
and then Tyler Boyd just clamped down on Monday night. So you're looking at those wide receiver 2 and 3s in the Bengals offense to take advantage of just opportunities for Andy Dalton to get the ball out. Talking quarterbacks, Josh Allen. I saw that hit, man. That boy. Whew.
Oh my gosh,
he tried to get back up back quick, but jogging back. But I'm like, buddy, you're hurt. You're out, man.
It was not pretty. I was in a sports bar and there was a very rude Patriots fan that said, "Oh, he led with the shoulder." Then we saw the replay and I said, "That does not look like his shoulder, sir." I mean,
it looks like the head
speared
right there.
him right in the head. He was not all there. Not surprising. It's looking like he actually probably isn't going to play next week.
No.
So that means in comes Barkley. Barkley.
Well, if you were wondering what Matt Barkley was doing, he was backing up Josh Allen.
Yep.
And I think fantasy-wise, the receivers are really tough to play anyways in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Now you're like, But
yeah,
Singletary, Frank Gore are worth the pickups, or maybe a starts if you're hurting on bye weeks, just because
Talk
they're
about
going to
this
get
later.
the
We might
touches.
have another bet.
Oh, I might have to get my rap skills going. But all right, then we had Jarvis Landry and his concussion on his big play. I didn't see the play live, but you did.
Yeah, he got concussed on a pretty big play.
Yeah.
The nice thing is he gave you 167 yards before he got concussed.
It's like so courteous of you.
So we still don't know on him. Concussions are something you just have to follow throughout the week. If they don't make it through the protocol on Saturday, then it's a good bet they're not going to be in.
Right.
So just kind of look at that Friday practice report. If he's in there practicing, then he's probably going to play. So
Right, and he comes in. I was hearing some commentators, and someone right there's like no real severity of a concussion. It's the severity of the symptoms after the concussion.
Yeah.
Concussion is concussion, a bleeding around the brain.
Yep.
It's just depending on each individual how their symptoms play out. So that protocol isn't as simple as if you don't know medical things, you think he should be back. He's fine. It takes a while.
So just in the interim, if he does miss, I think Antonio Callaway is the one who will kind of get elevated.
Yep.
He might fill that role a little bit. I don't think he's worth starting. Probably not even picking up unless you're in a really deep league. So it's really not going to mean much for fantasy.
Yep. All right, that's the news of the town here. We're going to go, or talk of the town. We're going to go to our party question of the week. Gotta find the button.
Find the button.
Yeah, find the button.
I'd like to go to a party in my pants.
Click it.
No, Brick.
All right, let's go.
All right. Well, from one comedian in that little segment, we're going to talk about our favorite comedians.
Yes.
I won't say all time, but just even now, just one of our favorite comedians growing up or relevant right now. Sean, I like your pick here because there is a big window of where he was very popular, and now I don't even know where he is.
Yeah. So I understand he's taken a fall. I don't think he's come out with anything in the last 5 to 10 years now. But
I don't think so.
when I was growing up, Dane Cook, he had some of the funniest stuff I had ever heard. Like, me and my brother still quote all of his stuff. My favorite is probably the crying when he's talking about, going through, driving in your car, you think you're the center of the universe and you're gonna cry, but you don't want to cry in the car. Then you get home, finally you can cry, then you just let out this cry, and then your mom calls you, and it's a really funny bit. So
Gotta listen to that one.
Yeah.
I gotta get that one there. So you had Dane Cook. Me, I had Brian Regan.
okay,
Brian
he's definitely a
Regan,
popular one.
He's a very popular one, and he was a clean comedian too. Didn't have to drop anything crazy. Because to me, that's guys can be dirty in their comedy.
I do not endorse any of Dane Cook's disgusting jokes.
But even guys who play all fine on the line there between the two, if you can be funny doing clean, then you're pretty
It's true.
creative.
It's much
and pretty
harder
good.
to do so.
Like I said, some guys go back.
Something
and
about when
forth.
they throw those F words in there, it just seems a little funnier. So if you can do it without that, props to you.
You're funny. So I love Brian Regan. I quote his stuff around. Sometimes I'll just say a line and I want to find out who's listening.
Yep.
Who heard me and they're laughing and chuckling. But also I'll say a shout out because they don't listen. But the new guys like John, Chris, Trey Kennedy for social media comedians, they're pretty hilarious as well. Trey Kennedy started off with a dad dance.
If I was to do more a modern thing, Dry Bar Comedy, check that out.
I get that on Facebook all the time.
It's hilarious.
I love the comedians they bring
There's
up.
so
there
many
all the
funny
time.
ones in
Yeah.
there. You can have a blast on YouTube one night if you just want to go through and listen to all the snippets. They're all real good.
Yeah, shout out to my little brother Tim. He's all about the comedy guys. So every time I'm going back and visiting him, that's what we listen to in the car. Not a podcast, not music. It's next.
They're hard to
heard.
find, man. Through
Yeah.
the years, it's been really difficult to find some good ones.
Yeah.
So
All right. Next, our fantasy football Tinder segment. Drop it. This brings me back to the 90s.
Hey, how you doing?
You do it. That's still my hero right there. All right, so the fantasy football Tinder section, if you're new to this, it's our start sit segment. And we're looking outside of the top 15 in each position. So we go running back, wide receivers here.
yeah, the way I kind of qualify it is you're looking for somebody who can get you that 10 to 15 points that you traditionally wouldn't be able to start, or somebody who's a traditional, good flex option, and now you can't start them this week. They're, projected because of the matchup or whatever reasons to get less than that.
And it's funny, if you go on social media, when you see on Facebook or anything talking about starting sits, are usually Sean who puts it up there. Because even in real life, before we started doing this segment, he and I would always get asked these questions throughout the week. It'd be either from me, from a coworker, a guy in church, A lot
Guy
of
in
my
our league.
students, guys in our leagues always hit us up. It's like, I'm not playing you. Who's it? And it's always these guys, these on the line guys, not the obvious ones. But
Yeah, so I have the difficult job of going on Facebook every Sunday morning, putting myself on the line and getting a bunch of calls wrong. But I did pretty well this week, I think.
you did.
So.
You did all right.
This is a pretty good week
I
for
did
me.
a bad week last week. I felt like I was just so bad at my start to the season.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off here with my swipe right here or starting. I'm picking Jalen Samuel at the running back position there at Pittsburgh. He's going up against a vulnerable Baltimore defense. It's not the same Raven defense that we feared for so long. Mosley's gone. It just seems a little different there because of a lot of high scoring affairs. And Jalen Samuels with the Mason Rudolph effect. The short game is being integrated extremely.
Yeah, that's his best friend is James Conner.
Yeah.
How many? The reception count was insane this past week.
It was crazy. So all this short game being integrated into play calling, Samuels was in there a lot too with James Conner. And with Conner, seemed like he's limited in practice and might be hurt.
Yeah, it's looking like there's a little bit of an injury.
Yeah.
They're limiting him, and I think it's what is it, a knee this time?
Yeah, so even the worst case scenario is still some split touches. So Samuels is a great start because he was used a lot in that Monday night game.
It's an ankle. Sorry,
ankle
He's got an
surgery
ankle
or
going
ankle
on.
surgery,
Not
ankle
surgery.
injury.
Don't put that.
I'm just
juju
putting
on
that
him.
right on him. You're getting surgery right
juju
now.
on him.
Juju on that. Put that juju on that beat. Here we go. And I'm swiping left. I'm sitting on Ronald Jones II.
Ooh, after such a fantastic
such
week
a
here.
big game. His hype train's rolling right now. He had 20 touches, over 80 yards of total offense, and a touchdown. But it seems like everybody and their mother was scoring on the Rams defense that night.
Yeah, 55 points will get you some points for all your fantasy players.
The defenses that he'll start facing here in the next few weeks will probably hold him in check. He goes into New Orleans on the road there, so he's got divisional games. And the New Orleans Saints, they held Zeke to under 65 yards of total defense or total offense. I mean, he still got that 1 yard touchdown run, right? So Zeke helped his fantasy owners that way. But outside of that, the Saints defense did a phenomenal job of holding up one of the best running backs in the NFL. So Ronald Jones, you did great, man. You got more touches than Peyton Barber, which makes all of us fantasy guys kind of figure out what the world is going on in that backfield. But I would sit him right now. Keep him around, but divisional opponents usually know each other better.
Okay.
And what New Orleans did last week, I'm not too excited to start Jones.
Yeah.
What are you guys?
All right. My start this week, so I'm going to be swiping right on this guy. I would start Austin Eckler. I know it's been a sad, depressing time for you Austin Eckler owners. Melvin Gordon's coming back. It seems like the end of your fantasy gold mine. But I think you got one more good week out of him. This week he's going to be playing Denver. They're 29th against the run.
Yeah.
So even if Gordon does get a lot of touches, I still think Eckler's going to have enough left over. They're probably going to be leading this game. Denver's been behind in a lot of games. They're 0-4. So they're going to need to run the ball. The other thing is Gordon didn't play at all last week. He was active, but I don't think he took a single snap. So that shows you that they're still very slowly wanting to work him in. I don't think he's going to get, 20 carries this game. It's probably going to be closer to keeping him from 10 and under touches if I was to guess. So Eckler, I think, will have enough work that you can start Eckler. So that's kind of just a boost of confidence for those owners.
Oh.
You can still start him.
Question for you. Mm-hmm. Kind of like we saw Eckler last year with Gordon. With all the injuries now with the Chargers, do you start seeing still relevancy for Eckler out of the slot because they're missing receivers left and right?
Yeah, I think that he will continue to be relevant throughout the fantasy season. Once Gordon is fully worked in, I mean, it's going to be really hard to predict what they're going to do, what they want to do with Gordon, if he's just going to be all of a sudden Melvin Gordon again for the whole season. But I think most likely you'll be able to look at the matchup, and if it's a good matchup where they're not good against pass-catching running backs, just like last year, you'll be able to start Eckler in those situations. I don't see him as a weekly starter after this week. So
okay. Wanted to see if you started seeing him almost like a Tariq Cohen-esque out of the receiver spot.
Yeah, definitely more in that brings him down from that RB1 to maybe that RB3. So
And you're really rolling the dice, hoping he's game planned in that week.
Exactly.
Now, I like your sit because I'm going to copy something like this later. But what's your sit this week at the RBs?
So I'm sitting the Buffalo running backs. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Devin Singletary. He's been out for a while.
Yeah.
It's probably a good possibility he'll come back in a limited role at least this week. Whether it's him, whether it's Frank Gore, I don't want any part of it because the Titans' defense is good. They only have allowed 2 rushing touchdowns all season. And if now we know, the concussion we talked about with Josh Allen, this offense is going to struggle. Like they've got an offense that's built around Josh Allen being able to get out of the pocket and be mobile. And that is not Matt Barkley's game. So nope. I think that they're going to struggle on offense. They're not going to be winning by a lot, so they're not going to be able to lean on the run. If I had to pick, I'd say the Titans come away with a win in this game. And so I think you need to stay away from, if you're kind of just wondering, it's one of these flex options is Gore, I'll put him in. Even if Singletary's out, I would stay away from that.
It's going to be one of those ugly 10-7, 9-6.
Because they're both 2 good defenses. Yeah. There's just not going to be a lot of offense, not a lot of fantasy gold for you.
Right. No, I agree with you on that one. So let's go over to the wide receiver spots here. I'll let you start off here with your wide receivers.
All right, so this is kind of a flip-flop here, but last week I told you to sit Alshon Jeffrey on his comeback. That turned out to be a big mistake. Yeah. I underestimated the fact that he was apparently 100% healthy. He played 81% of the snaps last week, okay? So they obviously were not limiting him. So my start this week, I'm swiping right on Alshon Jeffrey. So I think against the Jets, the 3rd worst against the pass, you can start him up. One of the big things I saw was his red zone targets. Touchdowns in fantasy are gold. That's where you can really...
He's such a big target. He's used in that red zone.
Exactly. And so it's pretty much just him and Ertz. They use a little bit of Goddard, but just a stat I looked up here for targets, he's had 5 red zone targets. Now, that may not sound like much because we're going into week 5, but he's only played 2 full games. He got hurt in one of them, and he didn't play last week. So he's only played 2 full games with 5 red zone targets, which is fantastic. So I think you can just stick him right back up in your lineup. If you're kind of a little afraid of I think last week he got saved by the touchdown. He only ended up with 11 or 12, not many yards. Right. I think he's fully involved this week, and I think he's going to be a great start. And then my sit of the week, I know you might have a little bit of an issue with this one.
You better ring the bell on this one, son.
Do I need to hit the bell?
Yes. Say it here. I'll let you.
Okay, so my sit is Geronimo Allison.
Gotta be kidding me.
So, all right, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you can't start Geronimo Allison. If you have a position that you need to start somebody, I think he will have an okay week. But what I'm telling you is you need to temper your expectations because he is not going to be the Devontae Adams replacement. That role is going to be filled by MVS. So if you think you're going to get, Devontae Adams light, I think you're going to be pretty disappointed in this upcoming week. That, coupled with the Cowboys are 4th against the pass. The Green Bay Packers offense, once they played an actual good defense last week, didn't look that great. They had 3 pretty easy matchups in the beginning. I guess Minnesota was maybe one other hard one.
Yeah, it's like they had a good first quarter there, and then the other 3 quarters, they couldn't do anything.
Exactly. So you saw when they were faced with these good defenses, which I think Dallas is a very good defense, that they were struggling. So Geronimo Allison, I don't know if you want to put a bet on this or not, but
I'm just saying, Geronimo with Devontae Adams coming out, we always known that Allison's almost, not I say a safety blanket, but someone that Rodgers, probably get that mic cover there, trust, right? And that's a big thing to me when Devontae Adams is out, going up against a good defense here. He's gonna trust him. When they scored that little late run of the touchdown against the Eagles, he hit Allison twice. Trusting he'll go up and get both there. So I don't know, just seeing that, knowing that Adams is going to sit out, yes, MVS is going to take more of that role, but I think he's going to look down more at Allison.
Okay.
So I think he'll be a start in my opinion. I'm hoping because I picked him up in a couple of leagues.
That's how I knew he would not be happy with this.
Nope.
That was his big pickup in our league.
I don't know. So. We'll put a bet down on that one. We should throw something.
Yeah, we'll
stop saying shave the beard.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
What is going on?
You don't understand. Okay, maybe for him. He said he can grow this thing back.
It takes about 2 weeks.
Yeah, me, not so much. This is a month, and I'm finally getting somewhere close to Chris.
And I trim it down. I mean, I trim it down every 2 weeks anyway, so it can be much thicker. So for me, I wouldn't care on the bet, but a lot of listeners just
that's what we learned.
The beard.
What we learned this week is we're not throwing the bets over to you anymore because they're just ridiculous accusations.
We'll just create one there. Yeah.
Somebody wanted us to shave one eyebrow. I mean, Sammy Watkins was not worth one eyebrow.
One guy's like, shave your one leg from the knee down, and like video your your day with one shaved leg. I'm like, what the world would that look like? But anyways,
So yeah, I don't know. We'll work out a bet with Geronimo. It'll probably be like a point total, somewhere maybe between 10 to 15 points. We'll post something that we both agree on for an over under, and then maybe I don't know. Maybe this rap bet thing is going to continue because Ben sounded pretty excited to get the other two in the studio. So
oh man, I can't rap.
All right, so let's move on to your starts and sits
I'm
for wide
swiping
receiver.
right. I'm starting Stephon Diggs as a Viking fan with all this drama going on over there. I think they should right the ship and start throwing the ball. Finally, he got 7 catches, 108 yards. There was a lot of garbage time, as I call it, toward the end. And I think he was the guy I spoke last week saying things were turning down. So it's kind of weird. Like, he kind of made me wrong in a point, but when you look at the game, it's like that doesn't really kind of count. Like, they were just like speeding up, and he was just getting these small little tosses over there just toward the end of the game while the Bears were just keeping everything up front. But I think Captain Kirk has been called out. He's kind of oddly apologized to like Thielen and stuff. All those rumors about the New England Patriots trying to trade for Stephon Diggs. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, but I think fantasy-wise, going against the Giants on Sunday, Diggs can be relevant again. I think they're going to try to solidify their passing game a little more against the Giants' defense. But I'll swipe left. I'm sitting a team that just played the Giants and looked bad and going against the number 1 defense in New England. So all Redskin receivers with Dwayne Haskins starting.
Yeah.
And I'm I don't
know if it matters.
It doesn't
starting.
Doesn't matter.
Could
who.
be Case. Could be him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't start.
The receivers in Washington, I don't care any of them. They're little darlings in there that early in the season, just sit them. Yes, somebody has to catch the ball, but if you saw Haskins, that meant a lot of DBs were catching the balls. All right, Jabril Peppers, those guys were catching the ball, so it's not going to be very good. So I would pass up on the Redskin receivers this week. It's like New England's defense is what the Miami defense is right now too, on different spectrum. You sit anyone going against New England, basically.
Yep.
Outside of maybe a strong quarterback.
Yeah.
And because with Miami's defense, you're like, I'm starting everybody and the backup against the Dolphins defense.
Exactly.
So this is that New England effect as well. So those were our wide receivers here. We'll go to our waiver wire quarterback. And this one's pretty popular. I've watched him a lot on TV and on other radio stations talking about waiver wire guys, but we agreed upon it too. Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I think he's somebody that you can start this week. If you're in that bind, you got a bye week. Matthew Stafford, that's one of the leagues for me. I had to drop Matthew Stafford. Jacoby Brissett's been really good. He's been really efficient. He hasn't had as many yards. There's been a lot of touchdowns. That offensive line is fantastic. So it's really just keeping them in the games where he's able to pick up some easy touchdowns. The thing that might hurt him, you want to keep an eye on T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
If he's out again, that kind of brings this down a little bit. I'd be a little less excited to start Brissett. But if T.Y. Hilton's starting, I think you can just start him right up and he can be a top 10.
Yeah, and check for Marlon Mack as well. You're like, why does that affect his positive out of passing? Because he's extremely efficient. That means he's got a lot of play action work, and he's keeping guys in the box because the RB1's there. So he's got a lot better matchups on the outside that he can easily get to because, like Sean mentioned, that offensive line is phenomenal. All right, so he'll have plenty of time off, even if it's only 2-3 receiver sets running routes. He has plenty of time to get the ball to him. So.
Yep. All right, and then let's move to our turntables.
I like how we said that in unison, like we meant to.
Jinx.
Well. How the turntables.
All right, so this turntable session, we talk about players who are about to buck the trend for better or for worse here. Right before we get into it, have you seen that State Farm commercial with Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes?
Yeah, I've seen
and the agent, every time he says, oh, how the tables have turned,
I know, I think
of this.
I'm like, they stole it from us.
Come on now, we should be in a commercial. All right, so for turntables, I'll start off here. Will Disley. I'm going to say something here. He is this year's George Kittle. I said it here.
Okay, George Kittle.
Yes.
So he's going to break the record, right?
Oh, yeah. I know. But he's turning for the better. He was coming off an injury last year. week 1 he barely played because he didn't play at all in preseason. So, but if you look at the last 3 games there, it's phenomenal. 4 touchdown catches there. He had 22 targets and he's caught 19 of them. Like, he's not a guy that drops passes. Little over 181 yards, but he's a huge red zone target there.
Yeah, that's the big thing is the red zone.
And I trust him because of Russell Wilson. We should talk about Wilson at some other time too. He's one of the most efficient quarterback right now in the NFL outside of Mahomes, but his numbers are great, and Disley is feasting off of it. So I'm thinking he's going to be that breakout tight end this year.
Yeah, I think top 5
healthy.
is for sure, and the possibility he's just going to sustain this. I don't see any reason why he's not going to continue this target count.
Yeah.
And he was great before he got injured last year, so it's just kind of, we weren't sure because it was kind of a later breakout in his career. Nobody knew who he was, but he's seeming to sustain it, so I think you can just continue to start him. I wouldn't try to trade him away high. I mean, he's going to be somebody that you're going to be able to start every week.
And I think, I'm just going to make this random percentage, but I think he's picked up in about 100% of leagues now.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys have put him on the bench and, trying to go with the bigger names now. But this guy should not be sitting back.
Yep.
Even if you wanted to put a double tight end and put him in the flex, if you're in a non-PPR league and looking for those touchdown scores in a standard, put Disley in.
Yep. All right, and then mine is, I'm going to actually go the opposite, and we don't do this often, but Wayne Gallman, he had a fantastic week this first week. Everybody's, feeling really good about their Wayne Gallman pickup. And my suggestion would be, if you don't absolutely need a running back, try to flip him for a good wide receiver right now.
Yeah.
Because he has a rough schedule coming up. He's going to get the touches.
Right.
That's kind of the good news of last week. We know he's going to get a lot of the workload. But he's looking at these next 2 weeks. He's playing New England and he's playing Minnesota. Those are 2 top 10 run defenses. With New England being, I believe, the 3rd best. So it's just going to be a rough go. They're going to be losing probably both of those. They're definitely going to be losing next week or against New England. But I just think that you're going to be in trouble if you try to chase those points. I don't know. I'm not saying you have to sit him. But like I said, if you have the opportunity, somebody in your league is like, I need a desperate running back, and wow, Wayne Gallman was an amazing pickup. I'll trade you, a wide receiver 2. I would take that deal if you can. If your roster can handle it, I would take that deal.
Yeah, and then if you're in a league with guys who don't keep up with the news very much, they came out with reports today of Saquon already doing drills and looking to even almost come back against New England. But if I'm a Giants GM, I would wait till the week after. I think, is it a bye or no? It's just straight up week after.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but I would hold him until after New England. So I would again sell on Wayne Gallman because
they play Arizona after New England.
That's basically a bye.
Yeah, it's basically a bye.
Your offensive players are fantasy, but I would definitely flip him, like you said. Gallman had a really good one, but he was that short start guy, and Saquads is coming back, so he's trending downward. I agree with you there.
Is trending down.
So that's our turntable session here. And really, that's our episode this week, I know you guys miss Ryan here. He's the life of the party. But if you got any comments, do not comment about our bet that we got going on. We will find something.
Oh, great.
I don't want to have any more weird shaving something off my body.
No, I mean, you can feel free to comment. We may completely disagree with you and not do them. But
yeah, so thank you guys for listening. So like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Hit us up on Sunday morning for Start Sit Things with Sean.
Yep, usually around sometime between 8 and 10, I'll jump in there, post a question in there asking for it. Just jump in the comments, ask me some Start Sit questions, and I'll do my best to give you some good lineup decisions.
I hope so, right?
Please.
Yes. All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Deuces.